called Big Cat.
Dion.
Hey, Dion.
You ready for football?
I am.
It's another season, baby.
Pro Football Show.
All right, Dion. Showtime. Football is back.
Welcome to the Pro Football Show presented by the Chevy Silverado. Week in and week out, the Silverado brings it with unstoppable grit and determination. Divisional round week, we are here. Brandon Walker is back. We've got Dan. We've got Dion. Dion, I heard that campus was closed for you today because there might have been a gigantic snowstorm. How are you hanging in?
It's a beautiful snowstorm. It's unbelievable. I could not wait to get out in the snow and play. This is only my second time really in the snow. 14 years in the NFL, I never played a snow game, which is historical in itself, but I love it. I didn't know that when it's snowing, it's not really cold.
Well, it does get a little warmer. No, you're right. You're right.
Really? Well, I think it depends on where you are. I think
it can't. There is I've been through this. This is a long debate. There is too cold to snow. Like a truly brutal day that's cold, that's like under 0 degrees, doesn't usually snow.
Okay.
Right.
And also, I feel like if there's enough snow in Boulder, Colorado to shut the campus down, that seems like it would be a lot of snow.
Significant amount of snow.
It's not like the South, wherever it shuts down for like half an inch.
Yeah, we got 12 inches, I think, last night. It was beautiful when I woke up this morning.
I never would have thought you would say you love snow. I know that was a huge thing.
I love it because it's new to me. It's like a new thing. I'm a kid. I'm a grown kid, just loving it.
I'm one of those weirdos too. Brandon and I argue about this. I actually love the cold weather and the snow, even though I'm from Texas. I know you hate it.
I hate it. It's terrible. I do not like it. I don't know how he likes it.
That snow is beautiful.
I get to put on
I'm sure
that's
everything in Boulder, Colorado is
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah. That's
the mountains. I don't just want snow. I mean, put them on some mountains and, give me some scenery or something like that. Postcard type stuff.
Yeah, the snow gets gross when it's in New York City and there's just like piles of it.
Oh, that's
turns
nasty.
gray.
Yeah,
it's not going to snow. It doesn't snow in New York City anymore, though. It hasn't snowed this year. I think we're just never going to.
All the rats took the snow. All the rats took the snow.
Yep.
That's why. You got rats walking around with minks on in New York.
It's true, and it turns all gross and dirty. It's just not pretty. If you could just sit inside and look at it, it's great. So Brandon is back, Dion, and I know before the show we always look at the records, and you have a lot of conversations with Dan about the records. Brandon won last week. He won the wild card week.
Easily.
Yeah, you won by one game.
Yeah, I went 5-1. I almost went undefeated. If the Minnesota Vikings if the Minnesota Vikings had any stones, I would have been undefeated.
No, I told you the Giants were going to win and they won. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, but I told you 5 other teams were going to win and they won.
But the only reason I didn't finish 5-1 is I was doing a respect thing with Jerry.
Well, that's your fault.
Jerry,
you trust too much.
My pick was the Jaguars. Everyone knows that, so it was always the Jaguars. But yeah, that was an unbelievable weekend of football. Very, very fun.
It was.
Yeah.
The Chargers choked. Choked. Let's
Choked.
just get that straight.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a moment on social media where you were looking at it and just like, there's no way that they're going to be able to come back. Everyone was making the jokes. It happened. A lot of crazy games last week. Of course, we'll go back to that when we talk about these specific games, so we might as well just get right into it. The storyline games of the week presented by the Chevy Silverado. We will start with the Bengals and the Bills. Both of these teams played very unexpected close games last week. The Bengals beat the Ravens without Lamar Jackson. The Bills beat the Dolphins without Tua. Brandon, I will start with you. When you look at the Bengals and the Bills last week and you know what's on the line for them this week, what do you expect to happen?
To me, when I looked at the Bills and the way they played against the Dolphins, it felt like they had a lot of missed opportunities. They had a lot of throws down the field that were dropped. They got out of their system a little bit. They did some things they don't usually do, whereas the Bengals were just stoned by the Ravens. The Bengals were just stopped. Now, on the road, in the cold, I really like the Bills to beat the Bengals here.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon's right. There was a discussion afterwards, watching the the Bills struggle with the Dolphins and the Bengals struggle with the Ravens. A lot of people were like, well, both teams look bad. To me, the Bills look bad in the fact they turned the ball over. The Bengals got outplayed. Like, Tyler Huntley had more passing yards than Joe Burrow. That shouldn't happen. Now, with all that said, I don't know if the Bills can play a clean game. Like, they have just had the issues. I think it's the Texans and the Colts are the only two teams that have more turnovers than the Bills in the season, and those two teams played an extra game. So if the Bills can limit the turnovers, they win this game easily. That's a big if, right?
Yeah.
That's a
Won't
huge
you
if.
quit saying if the Bills? Won't you say if Josh Allen can limit the turnovers?
One of those wasn't his fault. One of those was
that.
Cole Beasley's fault.
Oh, yeah, okay, but it counted. Okay?
Yeah,
You
no.
never- you
Two
never-
of them were bad. Two of them were bad. Two of them were bad. How was Lamar in his game?
Oh, he's chilling. He's waiting on his check, the Brinks
Exactly.
truck to pull up.
So my
Yeah,
guy's
he's waiting on
playing.
that truck to pull up.
Either way.
Yeah. Your guy's good. I really like your guy, but let me tell you something. For a Miami Dolphin team to go to Buffalo and put up a fight, that was an atrocity. That I was texting you, the game should have even been close. It's no way a warm weather team should be able to go into a cold weather climate and compete. Now, as far as the Bengals, that was not good to have a backup who backs up the backup quarterback on both teams, really, Miami as well as the darn Baltimore Ravens, compete with these two teams to let you know these guys aren't clicking. So what do? Oftentimes you take the home team because they're not traveling. When both teams aren't clicking, both quarterbacks aren't solid, you take the home team that's not traveling. And this is the only reason I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, simply because they're not traveling.
And we know that this game obviously didn't happen in Week 17 because of the Damar Hamlin situation. But outside of that, the Bengals have won the last 9 games. The Bills have won their last 8 games. Dion, when you look at what the Bengals are bringing back after the year they had last year going to this year, do you still see a magical run for them? I mean, I know that the Bills,
No.
you're going to take the Bills to win,
No.
but do you look at this season for the Bengals and say...
The Bengals have played their butts off as of late. You got to understand that. What's the statistic? It was just on here. 8.
9 in a row.
They've been winning.
9 in a row.
9 in a row, something like that. They've been winning their butts off. And let's sidebar. Hamlin is out of the hospital. God bless him. Unbelievable. The way we came together as a country. I love it. Okay, back to football. Both of these teams aren't on their games right now. So it's going to come down to quarterback play. It's no way you win a playoff game when a quarterback throws 2 interceptions. So I got to give the Buffalo Bills credit to overcome all that adversity. When you throw 2 interceptions, you should not win. Jacksonville should not have won.
No.
Right.
Buffalo should not have won, but they did. So you got to give the credit to them.
I'm gonna ride with the Bills as well. The thing that drives me nuts about the Bills is, and this I think it's probably a Ken Dorsey thing. I would assume because he's the one calling the plays. They just don't have an intermediate passing game. It's like
All or
they
nothing.
throw it deep, they'll run it with Josh Allen or running back. They'll throw it deep, and then that's it. They don't have, hey, let's get 6 yards. Hey, let's get 8 yards. Let's like when you think about Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Drew Brees, what they were able to do better than anyone else is if the defense is giving it to you, you take the 5-6 yards, move the chain, we'll go on a 13-play drive, no problem, score. The Bills feel like they can't do that. So I don't know how that's missing. Maybe it's getting Cole Beasley more involved, but I am going to end up landing on the Bills here just because the Bengals offensive line issues, I think their defense isn't as good as it was last year.
Let's go to Cowboys.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It is, but it's not
Yeah.
not the same number.
But this is when that Bengals defense went from good to great last year
Yeah,
in the
no, I know,
playoffs. So
I know.
they got something going with them.
And you have a future on the Bengals or no?
I do.
You
13-1. So there's no reason for me to put more money in bets on the Bengals here.
Let's go to the Cowboys and the 49ers. The Cowboys, I know Brandon is very excited about this. We'll get to you eventually. They finally beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked probably the worst we've seen him in a long time. The Bucs could do absolutely nothing. And then, of course, the 49ers with Brock Purdy destroy the Seahawks. Dion, the Cowboys, and I know you picked them even though it was hard for you to do against Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked, just absurdly not like Tom Brady in that game. What was your biggest takeaway from that Monday Night Football game before we get into this matchup?
Their offense looked horrible. I'm not going to put the onus on Tom Brady. I'm not going to put the onus on their coordinator, Leftwich, who, how in the world can you be up in running to be a head coach and the next year you're fired? How does that happen?
Hey, wait, Dion, I got a question. Didn't they get
How
Julio
did that
Jones? Didn't they get Julio Jones? Remember when he
Yeah,
told
Julio
me?
scored a touchdown. He scored a touchdown.
My
Did
guy,
you see that?
Julio!
It's a great
Game
play.
changer.
Yeah, he did. He
No,
changed the game. He
no.
changed the scoreboard.
Yeah,
they threw him a pass, he scored.
He changed the game because he signed with the Bucs and he told them I won't get injured, and they're like, cool, we can count on you. And then he got injured all year.
So we're going to blame this on Julio.
I
Okay.
was just reminded me. I reminded
They
me when you said
needed
the offense
a tight
stunk.
end.
Yeah, okay.
They needed another receiver. They abandoned the running game. Like, they abandoned the
didn't
running game when they
abandon
got
it.
out
They
of their
couldn't
car.
use it.
Yeah, they didn't
stopped.
use it.
They stopped.
And their offensive
Listen,
line was terrible.
When I saw Julio score
Yeah.
that touchdown, catch that touchdown pass, my first thought, this is how much you guys live in my head, was about the two of you. I was like,
Yeah,
I know
well,
this is going to come up.
Yep.
I mean, it was a
That's who he
terrible
is.
take, and I was
that's who he is.
100% right. 100% right.
No, you was not 100% right.
Yeah, I was.
They wanted him for the playoffs, and what did he do? He came through in the playoffs. He scored a
garbage
touchdown. That's
time.
all you want from a guy.
In garbage
That's all you want. Yeah, the whole darn game was garbage time for
true.
both teams until the Cowboys broke it open. Let me tell you something. The Cowboys, what I told you guys early on in this season, and I've been having a saddle and a horse, and I'm not really a horse guy because I like my feet to touch the ground with all things. Dak Prescott balled. Give him his credit. Give him his due.
He won
He's
one
coming
playoff
around the
game.
mountain.
He threw 5 touchdowns. He scored 5 touchdowns.
And he balled.
He
All
won
right,
one
he
playoff
was
game.
good. Early on, it looked bad, but he calmed down. They got him some plays to get the ball out of his hand, and he looked precise and concise and just astute. I love what he did. Now, saying that, San Francisco 49ers is going to score, man. And if this gets to be a shootout, it's going to be a problem. The problem is you got a young quarterback going against an experienced defensive line with the Dallas Cowboys, and they're coming. That kid is not going to know what hit him. I'm telling you this, I would normally take the 49ers if they would have had Garoppolo or one of those guys, a veteran guy, but with a youngster back there, with this pass rush, knowing that the Cowboys are going to score, and he's going to have to answer, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to ride that horse called Dak, like I said a while ago.
Brandon,
Yes.
Brandon, I know you're very excited about that as well because you
Well,
love Dak.
First of all, I don't know if anybody on this show remembers it. You're probably a little young. I don't know if anybody here has the expertise I have, but in the 90s, the early to mid 90s, the 49ers Cowboys games in the playoffs were absolutely
How
incredible.
young do you think I am?
Well, I just
Yes, I remember the 49ers.
Well, me and you
playing
both
the
remember them
Cowboys
then, so
in
we
the
can-
90s.
Are you
both
trying to say he
experts
looks
Yes.
old?
yeah. So
No, he thought I wouldn't remember games that were played when I was like 10, 12. I remember
I
all.
thought you were born in like 80, 87 or 88.
85. What?
I didn't know. Sorry.
I think
Anyway,
you're thinking of me.
How old are
I was
you?
born in
He was
88.
born in 85?
43.
That's when I graduated high school.
Anyway, this is a great throwback to those great
don't look a day
49ers
over 60.
Cowboys games of the early and mid 90s. Dion, you remember those?
Oh, well, I was very dominant in those games, but go ahead.
Well,
That's
some
beside
of
the
them you
point.
were. I don't know if you were dominant in all of them. Dak Prescott turned it on. He found it. Everybody doubted him. You don't just become suddenly terrible in the middle of your prime. You don't suddenly become turnover prone. He had one bad stretch. He had a bad stretch where he threw a lot of picks, and people said, "Oh, he's terrible. He's terrible. He's terrible." He outplayed the shit out of Tom Brady the other day.
No, he's not terrible. He's not consistent. I don't think he consistently can put together 4 games.
Watch.
He has his whole career. He's done it in his whole career.
He's the black Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins won a playoff game.
That's good. We know he's black, right?
The Cowboys.
no,
He's already black.
he's
You
the-
can't call a guy black when they're already black.
no, he's the
Who's
black
also
Kirk
white.
Cousins. Kirk Cousins
He
is
says
the
the
white
black
Dak
Kirk
Prescott.
Cousins.
Dallas Cowboys
That's a
are gonna win
good.
this game.
That's a great response, Cat.
Micah
That's
Parsons,
a great response.
If he isn't
That's not
already
true.
the best defensive player in the league, is about to be the best defensive player in the league very soon. And
Jerry!
this rookie quarterback against
Jerry!
Micah Parsons, I don't care about his.
Jerry!
He's got a great guy over there in Pittsburgh. Micah Parsons is on his way to being the best defensive player in the league. You down with that, Jerry?
Taking a little snoozy snooze. What happened?
Oh, you're
taking a
Jerry
nap.
got a haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Jerry look good, man.
Thanks, Dion.
I love
Thanks.
the haircut. I think it looks very cute.
Yeah, it's not, you know, what are you going to do?
I think it looks great.
You guys
good,
are
man.
talking about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Like he's better than Jimmy G. He's been on the Jimmy G played on this team. Brock Purdy has played better with this team than Jimmy G. I know he's a
not
rookie.
true.
Yes,
That's not true.
It is true.
He did
That
have
is not
Literally has
true.
better numbers.
he had the second
That's not
most
true.
ever yards for a rookie in the playoffs ever
Oh, thank
last
you.
week.
Thank you,
Ever.
Kayce. I also want to say
That's one game.
I also want to say there is, and this is stupid by the NFL, but fortunately it works in my favor with my pick of the 49ers in this game. There's a massive, massive benefit to the 49ers in terms of rest and travel.
Yep.
It's crazy. The 49ers played at noon on Saturday, and the Cowboys played a full 2.5 days later, and now the Cowboys have to travel out to the 49ers.
Nobody cares about that.
Those things
Nobody
matter.
cares
You don't know.
about
How'd you
traveling in
know?
a chartered flight. This is not a darn a group plane. This isn't Southwest that everyone is flying on where every man is
How'd
created
you
equal.
know?
They got a darn plane that's comfortable for every guy.
Yeah, but Dion,
Nobody
still
cared about
stinks.
travel.
There's a big difference of playing 5 days ago and 7 days ago, right? Or 9 days ago, whatever.
No.
There's
Yes.
not?
It's just how many more days you get. No, it's not.
Yeah, there is.
Could there be
No,
a
it's
difference
not.
for a lot
I
of people?
squatted
that
last
not-
week, and I've been sore for like a week and a
I'm
half.
going to side with Dan here. He knows what he's talking about.
How can you flip like that? You gotta
I'm
stop.
right, because I'm right.
You gotta stop.
I don't even know whose team I'm on anymore.
They probably
Yeah, you got to
Thank
pick.
you.
You got to pick.
They didn't get home till like 4 a.m. on Tuesday.
They weren't going to
gone.
practice anyway.
Wednesd's a rest day. Thursday,
They don't
maybe
practice
look
on
a little
Tuesdays anyway.
practice.
Dion,
They don't
could
do
it,
anything on Mondays.
could it be one of those things where like the people like us who are athletically challenged in comparison to guys like you, it's true.
I just said I squatted last week.
You did. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry. He
I
did
won the
squat. He did
1997
squat.
West Point High School Slam Dunk Contest. So let's
I
just
feel like
use
the athletic feats are much harder for us to understand than maybe Dion.
Right. See, what they do, Case, if that's going to be a problem, and if Jerry Jones thinks that's a problem, guess what he would do? He would fly them out there 2 days early. That's what they would do. That's what you do as an owner. If you think your team isn't rested, they go out there a couple days early so they can get acclimated and they can get rested. That's what they do.
But that still doesn't erase the fact that one team played 6 days ago, one team played 8 days
Right,
ago.
but you have to remember
they
the
don't.
fact that Dion, when he played, he didn't tackle anyone, so he didn't have like bumps and bruises.
That's a great one.
just ran around.
Good catch. That's
no.
original. That's
Oh, no.
original. That's really original.
All right, I'm taking the Niners. I'll be out on an island. I think the Cowboys. I was very impressed by them Monday night. Dak Prescott was sensational. This game's going to be a tight one. I think the Niners have a better offense-defense. Like, I think they have just better guys everywhere. How is a Cowboys defense that has had lulls in the season going to be able to guard all of the weapons of the 49ers?
And the 49ers haven't lost since October 23rd. And when you look at the Cowboys, yes, they beat Tom Brady, they beat the Bucs. The Bucs also got into the playoffs with a losing record. So it's
Right.
not like that was a surprise with how bad they played. However, the moment that most people were talking about, especially during the game, was the kicking game for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett Maher having 4 missed extra points in a row. It didn't matter against Tampa, but that could easily come into play unless he's got it figured out, right?
Yeah.
If this
Yes,
comes down to
nobody
a
cares
field
about
goal or an
extra
extra point, we all need to pray for Brett Maher. My stomach can't handle that.
I will not be praying for him.
You don't
I
want to
will
pray
because I
for
want
him?
the Cowboys to win.
I'm not praying for an extra point. I pray for a lot of things, but not an extra point.
I said for Brett Maher. I didn't say the actual kick. I just said I hope he's okay. Anyway, I have
in
a
a row
question,
is
Dion.
crazy.
So you really are, your expertise in football. I want to ask this question. Last year, the 49ers walked into Dallas and ended their season in the playoffs. Now, the Cowboys have a chance to do the same thing the very next year to the 49ers. Does that weigh in on anybody's thoughts on this game?
No, nobody cares. Last year was last year. This is your new year, new thing. Nobody gives a darn. No, do you care about yesterday? No,
Yep.
whatsoever. You're doing a
Sometimes.
great job on here today. You're doing a great job today. Besides you on that seesaw with Big Cat, up and down, up and
I'll
down,
I'll
up
say
and down.
that. Dumb question. That was a dumb question.
How's that a dumb question?
That was a dumb question.
Thank you. There
If-
you go.
if
Now
Team
you're
A
on the
beats
seesaw.
me
Just told you about it.
If Team A eliminates me in 1 year and the next year I have a chance to do the same thing to them at their place, that doesn't affect me at all. I'm just
I think,
playoffs.
I think,
I'm
I
just
think
a robot.
it would affect me.
There's no letdown. It's the playoffs.
I'm just a robot.
It's the playoffs.
I will say that I think it matters way more in college than it does in the NFL, right? I mean, a college team might have more of the vindictive act to it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a
Exactly.
dumb question, though, Brandon.
Thank you, Kayce.
I don't think that it
Well,
was.
I don't think it was very intelligent.
No, it
I
wasn't.
would never
It was
call you
not,
dumb,
Dion.
Brandon, but I'm not going to intelligent.
It's
It
fine,
just
Dion.
wasn't
Say
intelligent.
what you're going to say.
It's just
Say it.
everybody's at
I
everybody.
can't do that. I care about your feelings. Big Cat does not care anything about your feelings or emotions.
That's a fact.
We all love each other behind the scenes, I promise. Let's get to hashtag I believe. Of course, everybody knows at this point it is Dion's slogan. Dion, you've been
Yep.
riding with the Cowboys. You believe the Cowboys will get into the NFC Championship. Dak will lead them to
Yep.
that championship. And we talked about the Cowboys against the Bucs. We know that the Bucs were not the team that they've been in the past. They got in with the losing record, but the Cowboys did get a playoff win. Dak got a playoff win, which was something that a lot of people use as a punching bag. It's a joke, which is a fair one. Do you think that getting over that hump against Tom Brady is going to propel them even more, or is that something that the fans just talk about and players don't necessarily think about?
Well, let's just leave Tom Brady out of this. The team that Tom Brady was accompanying with was horrible. Okay, let's just put it on the record. What Dak did was to come back and play like he's been playing his whole career. True, he hit a lull at the conclusion of the season, and he wasn't playing Dak like football. He might have been looking ahead, thinking too much, overthinking things, and they simplified it. First couple plays, they get the ball out of his hands, make something happen quick. That's what they did, and I love that. That relaxed him a bit, even though it was a couple incompletions. What Dak is going to do is what I said he's going to do. He's going to lead them to the NFC Championship game, and he's going to be very dominant. I'm looking for 25-33, 25-32, something like that, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. If it is a turnover, it'll be a sack, fumble, strip, fumble. But Dak Prescott will lead this team. I do believe that.
And Brandon, last week you also mentioned, going along with this game, that if the 49ers didn't lose in the wild card round, that they would lose in the divisional round to the team that Dion believes will be in the NFC Championship with Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I also believe the Cowboys are going to be in the NFC Championship. And I don't want to really talk about Seattle or the 49ers right now because I want to talk about a guy he just mentioned. A lot of people have said this along the way in his career, and they've been wrong, and he's proven them wrong. I believe Tom Brady is now, as of 2023, he is finished. Dunzo.
Oh, wow, go out on a limb.
What we saw the other
Blasphemy.
day. What we saw the other
Blasphemy.
day.
I'm with
It
you,
says
Dion.
45-year-old man.
What
might
we
be
saw the
getting
other day
old.
was a pathetic shell of what he was. He is scared to get hit. He's scared to take contact. He throws the ball. He tried to throw that ball out of the end zone and didn't even look. That was pathetic.
I think he led the NFL in a couple categories, but never mind that.
Yeah, age.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, he is done.
Yeah,
he
that's
is
a good one.
finished.
It's a good one.
I don't think that he's finished. Dion, this is actually because we've talked.
finished.
He needs.
No, he's not.
I think that he's going to be somewhere else than Tampa, but he can't quit now after he just everything with his family.
He's 45 years old.
Yeah, yes, he can.
He can-
It's not quitting. It's called retiring.
Excuse
When
me,
you've got a
retiring.
body of work that he's put up, he can retire. It's not quitting. He's just got to make the best decision for himself. We all want him to go out on a high cloud like he was going to go out a couple years ago. We hate to see him losing in a losing effort and not a team not even putting up a darn fight. So I understand what you're saying, but Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, man. He still could flat out play.
I mean, I kind of agree with Brandon. He's not finished in the fact that I think he'll play next year, but he wants to play football on his terms where he doesn't get sacked. Getting hit is part of football.
Who wants to get sacked?
Right,
What
but-
quarterback you said, hey, I want to get sacked?
I actually do think Joe Burrow gets off on getting sacked the way he stands in the pocket.
Well, yeah, he leads the league every year.
Yeah,
in
right.
that
But
category.
there is Tom Brady. It's actually like torturous for him because his arm and his mind are still there. It's not like Peyton. It's not like Breeze where their arm just fell off a cliff and it was like they can't make the throws. Tom Brady can make the throws. His feet are what has betrayed him and his ability to move in the
No,
pocket.
his line has betrayed him.
No,
His feet has been the
no,
same
no,
his whole
Dion,
darn
he
career.
panics.
His
Dion,
line has
there
betrayed
were
him.
multiple times on Monday Night Football where it was a little bit of a pass rush and he would just panic and throw it into the ground. That's not
Who was open?
Old Tom Brady.
Who was open?
Would
Who was
stand-
open?
I'm just telling you. Old Tom Brady would wait until that guy gets open and get hit in the
Yeah.
pocket.
And you can wait and get killed now, right? That's
Yeah,
what
but
you want him to do. Wait and get killed.
When he tried to throw it out of the end zone and didn't because he didn't even look to where he was throwing, he just panicked and just threw it up in the air. Like that's
No,
a really bad pick.
That was a panic. No, that was a panic play. That happened. I mean, I believe that was the first interception in the red zone he's thrown in what? How long? It was
2019.
some kind of
long time.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'll
Yeah.
be
So
on the
how
team
can
next
you
year.
criticize it?
Yeah.
How can you criticize him as the first interception he's thrown in the red zone since all of us didn't have to use Dark and Lovely to cover up the grave?
If you're a team that doesn't have an elite offensive line, you shouldn't even think about signing Tom Brady
there.
next year. Shouldn't even think about it.
So speaking
It
of
ain't
that,
too many teams has an elite offensive
That's what I'm
line.
saying. There's not too many teams that are going to want him
so
or need him.
speaking of that, Dion, a lot of speculation of where Tom Brady is going to be next year. If you had to guess right now, and again, there's a lot of things that could happen. Do you think he'll be somewhere else other than Tampa? Where do you think that would be?
I think he loves Tampa. I think Tampa loves him. If it's me, I can only step in those shoes. I got to go somewhere where it's a playoff caliber team that they need one piece to get them over the hump, and that quarterback that can get them over the hump. It's a couple teams that fit that description that he could possibly go and make some things happen. If not, you don't want to risk it. You don't want to go into another situation where you got to rebuild it. It has to be a stable, consistent, well-respected head coach.
Dan, what's your I believe this week?
My I believe, so mine was Stephen Che's a dum-dum
Which-
last week. He is a dum-dum.
I saw you fired him?
Yeah, well, no, I moved him back up to the third floor. These two guys are idiots. They're way wrong on the 49ers. It's going to be fun to watch that game. 49ers are significantly more talented at pretty much every position, including quarterback.
Every position?
I said pretty much every position, including quarterback.
Wow, that's hating. That's just
They have
flat out hating right now.
Running back.
You're telling me.
Tight end. Wide receiver 1. Wide receiver 2. Left tackle. Offensive line. Defensive line. Safety.
You included
Wow.
quarterback, though.
Yeah, I said including quarterback.
That means you
I
think
didn't
Brock
stutter.
Purdy is more talented than Dak Prescott.
No. He's better right now.
You think Brock Purdy right now is better than Dak Prescott?
Yeah, he's going to play better on Sunday.
I
It's
think
called
that's
hating.
absolutely crazy.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens Sunday. That's why they play the games.
First-
We love a better stat line than on Sunday.
Listen, I said earlier it's the second most ever yards for rookie in the playoffs. Also, the first rookie quarterback ever to have 4 touchdowns in a playoff game. It's not just because of him; it's because of the team. But it's not like he put up some pedestrian type of game.
Dak can do what he did on Monday night. He can't do it extended stretches. It's going to be fun watching this one. I'm excited for
I
this
am
one.
too.
My I believe is I'm just going to go back to the original one, and I'm now in legacy bet territory. I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 22-1, put in August. That is, if I win this, you'll never hear the end of it. So I need it real
We're not
bad.
going to hear the end. If you lose it, we're not going to hear the end of it. It don't really matter. We're not going to hear the end of it, period.
No, if I lose it, I will get.
You will place blame on something
No,
else.
I'll get
if you lose
buried.
it.
I'll get buried online. People will make fun of me. They'll call me names. I understand that's part of the deal. So, but if I win it, that's a legacy bet, and you'll never hear the end of it. You'll never hear the
We'll
end
be
of it.
sitting here next year, and you'll never hear
It's
the
a
end
Super
of it.
Bowl ring.
Yes.
I win a Super Bowl.
You should get a ring for it if it
I
happens.
should. It's enough money to buy one.
All right, it is time to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles with the Game Time Game of the Week, as always presented by our friend Jersey Jerry with a lovely new haircut. Score last-minute tickets to this week's Game Time Game of the Week or any sport, concert, or show with Game Time. Go download the app, create an account, and redeem code football for $20 off your first order. Terms do apply. Let's make sure I get Dion turned around here.
What's up, Dion?
Hey, Jerry, you look good, man. You look lean, too. Your cut makes you leaner.
Oh, thanks. Hey, a question for you. What kind of program you guys running over there? It seems like a military camp.
Well, we don't play.
Yeah, no, it looks
gotta
scary.
You got to instill discipline and structure, especially when you're coming off a year where everyone in the locker room, except for the luggage, has won one game.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks
Yeah.
scary. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a player on that team because, I mean, you guys are just going to rip them into
Well,
shape.
we had 2 guys quit right after that. So yeah.
Really?
Did you really?
It worked.
Did you really?
It worked. Yeah, 2 guys shut it down.
I mean, I would have left too. I'm like, I ain't built for this. I'm out.
You just would admit
Yeah.
it. You wouldn't run
I
through
would
a wall.
admit it.
You'd
I'd
be
just say, I ain't built for this.
That's fair. That is fair. Jerry, though, is still looking forward to running out with Ralphie.
Yes.
So as
Yeah.
long as that's still on the table. Jerry, you have the Giants and the Eagles. We know the Eagles obviously had a bye last week. The Giants getting that big win against the Vikings.
Yes.
Do we have any signs for this week?
Listen, all week I've been on the Giants. I've been going back and forth, though, these last couple hours. I think I'm going to switch my pick.
Just right now?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the Eagles, -7.5.
That's very smart, Jerry.
They've been dominant all year. Vegas knows. Listen, if this was going to be a close game, Vegas would have set this line at 4.5, 5.5. It's at 7.5 for a reason. The Eagles could run away with this one. I think, Danny Dimes has played really good. I think he's earned his money. Saquon has earned his money. But I think it stops here. And I'm going to take the Eagles. Not a blowout, but a beatdown.
Beatdown, Dion?
What's the difference in a blowout and a
A
beatdown?
blowout is like 30
This
to
is
10.
different.
A beatdown is
Yeah.
like 28,
Yeah, you beat 'em down.
14. You beat them down.
A beatdown
Right.
comes with a lot of running plays, and you never give up the lead. That's a beatdown. A blowout
lot
is
of
like
sacks?
it's a laugher. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't
Jerry,
gonna
what
be-
did you just? Jerry, what was that? What did you just do?
Oh, that's my pen. It's a nicotine.
Oh, I'd never seen that before, Jerry.
Yeah.
It's a vape.
It's a vape.
You're in Colorado now, Dion. There's a lot of those out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
these.
but
where you-
that's why I wonder what that was, because that was one of my deal breakers that I put on the board. If I catch this in the locker room, it's a wrap. So I was just wondering what that was, Jerry.
oh
so
yeah,
like
so
right
you
now,
don't even let them. You don't let them smoke.
like right now with what you just did, I would just tell you to get out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
gee.
we would have your bags packed up and put a bow on it.
So
Yeah,
Dion,
that-
what's the realistic goal for your first year head coach? Like, what is your goal that you want to see at the end of the year?
And
And we gonna do some damage, man. I don't think about, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do some damage
I like it.
because we got everything we want right now. We getting ready to shake up the world.
And nobody
Again.
can, and nobody
The
can
world.
vape either.
Yeah, nobody can vape.
Nobody
I'm
can
sure,
vape.
I'm sure alcohol, right? No alcohol.
Right? That was a deal breaker as well.
Running a
Coming
tight
in
ship.
smelling like that. People are gonna drink and gonna do what they do, but if they come in the complex, if they come in the locker room in our space with that, it's gonna be a problem.
Now, Dion, last question I had for you. What was the conversation with the two athletes that left? Did they just say, hey, I don't want to do this? Or did they reach out to you? And like,
Yeah,
"I'm done"?
they said they're no, it came up. They were men about it. They said they're going to get in the portal. I didn't have a problem with that because we kind of knew that anyway. but I just hate for one of them to cost us. Like they waited strategically to after the first meeting and after you start school so that they count against you. And we could have brought another body in for the spring. And that counts against us with a scholarship. So that was the problem. The other guy, the quarterback, he knew he was gone. So God bless him.
I mean, yeah, you got your Louis with you
Yeah,
now.
you got the luggage. Yeah, Brandon, we talked about Deion's son yesterday on Unnecessary Roughness, and we talked about the quarterbacks in the Pac-12 and how exciting it could be. Shador's going to be one of those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of great quarterbacks already in the Pac-12.
It
So
is.
let's see
is.
how big of a dent he makes when he gets there.
Exciting.
Well, he's going to make a great dent because we're going to have Dan. You know, when Dan comes in, it's going to be everything. He just brings that kind of love and that kind of tension, and he just brings excitement when he comes.
Yeah, I'm gonna whoop it up. I'm
That's
gonna
right.
whoop it up.
So the
home
Giants,
My
game.
team.
the Giants, Eagles, Brandon, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, well, first of all, the Giants have been playing really well. Daniel Jones has been playing really well, and everything about them looks good. To me, this is all about one guy, it's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played at an MVP level all season long, and then when he came back from injury in that last game, it wasn't exactly Jalen Hurts, but now he's had a bye week to get ready. I think he's going to be 100%. I think you're going to see the Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown, the Jalen Hurts running the football. And this isn't Kirk Cousins on the road in the playoffs. This is Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles roll pretty good here, too.
And I know you feel the same way, Dan. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a legacy bet.
It's all Eagles. I do think the Giants are playing great. It just comes down. I think the Eagles have more weapons, and their offense is sustainable. Like they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to go take deep shots with Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. I think the Giants will keep it close, but the Eagles are going to win this game.
When we talk about the MVP on this show, usually there's a little bit of an argument. I mean, Dion, I assume at this point it seems pretty clear that it will be Jalen Hurts, correct?
It should.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
It should be.
No,
Patrick
No,
Mahomes
it should be
It's not
Jalen
Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is
And
winning.
Mahomes.
Guys, stop.
It's
Guys,
Mahomes.
stop, guys.
I would bet you any amount of money that Patrick Mahomes wins the MVP this year.
Jalen Hurts.
Literally any amount. I will bet you your job.
Jalen
I will
Hurts
be the
didn't
head
break through the
coach of
tape.
Colorado.
He didn't finish the race.
Yeah. It's
How did he
Patrick
didn't
Mahomes.
finish the race?
He didn't finish the race.
He didn't play the last 3
Patrick
weeks.
Mahomes is one of those guys that's so good that we do take it for granted, but the way that the Eagles have played
No, it's
unexpectedly
Patrick-
with
it's Patrick
Jalen
Mahomes.
Hurts.
Mahomes is going to
The
do it.
Eagles are where they are because of one man. You
That's
guys
true.
know that.
Well,
So
I mean,
stop.
A.J. Brown getting out of that mix really changed a lot of things, too. So.
Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes
yeah,
will
yeah.
win the MVP. I will. You name the price, Dion. Whatever you want, I'll
no,
bet you.
I'm not a betting man, and I'm
Exactly.
not going to start now.
I think if-
so.
I'm sorry, Dion. Go ahead.
No, okay, yeah. No, but I want to go, but I don't want you to go after me. So let's just go. All right.
All right, who's going? Me?
You
You're
lost
going.
your turn.
You're
Yeah,
going.
you lost your turn.
I'm
You're
not-
I'm going.
I'm going.
You're not
You're
going.
Okay.
Yeah, you're out. You're out. So just put the jump rope down. You don't get the double dutch. Jalen Hurts is the MVP. The Philadelphia Eagles will win this game. I like what Jones has brought to the table this year. Everybody was dogging him. You got to give him his credit. Get a kid his credit. He came back against all odds and he played suitable football. Now you got to be careful if you open up the bank and give it to him, then he lets you down. Now you're going to want to stone him, and I don't like that. I think the kid can play. He's a viable quarterback. The only way the Giants are going to stay in this game is this kid is going to have to rush from anywhere to 75 to 120 yards. He's going to have to run for his darn life and extend drives. That's the only way the Giants are going to stay in this game. If not, it's going to be a domination.
And Brandon doesn't get to talk now,
I
right?
don't get a chance.
No,
I don't play for Colorado. He can't kick me off the team.
you don't get a rebuttal.
No rebuttal. We're on the
You
Eagles.
had your turn.
We're on the Eagles.
Yeah, everybody's on the Eagles. It's okay.
Mahomes MVP.
And Mahomes is the MVP. So that's
If
just a
the
fact.
season ended at week 14, Jalen Hurts could have been the MVP, but it didn't.
I don't want Dion.
We'll see.
I don't want Dion to kick
We'll
you
see.
off the show. So
No,
I'm
we
just
won't
gonna keep it
see.
moving.
We won't see. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. There's no
Okay,
we'll
we'll
see.
see.
It's just happening.
We'll see.
It will happen.
We will see.
We'll hear about it in January.
We will see.
Or February, and you'll be like, oh, I never said that. Be like, no, Patrick Mahomes.
When
is
does the
MVP.
voting, can I tell you guys something? When does the voting goes in, guys?
I think it might have already gone in.
Yeah, between the last week and the first week of the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That week right there.
So
don't
It's
believe
the
that.
age-old cliche argument to how do you define MVP? Because
Patrick
Right.
Mahomes is how you define it.
Yeah.
That's
Mahomes-
like the
true.
most valuable player
We're
to
talking about
a
Patrick
team.
Mahomes,
I
guys.
know. I completely agree with you. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but I do think there are a lot of people that look at the Eagles and say they'd be nowhere near where they are right now without Jalen Hurts.
So you could say the same thing
right.
about Mahomes. They lost Tyreek Hill and stayed just as good.
Yeah, I will say they both are.
No,
pretty
they're
good.
not as good. They're not
they're
as
pretty-
good.
they're
No, they're
number
not
one
as
seed.
good without Tyreek Hill. That's a lie. That is a blatant lie.
I'd have to look up their
Just when you have
offensive
it
stats.
going, hey Dan, just when you let him off the leash, he says something like that, and you look over at him.
You'd rather have Tyreek Hill than not.
Of course you would.
Thank you.
But they lost Tyreek
That-
Hill and are just as good offensively. They're scoring just as many points as they score with him.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Dan did not want to shoot you in your head. He did it politely
I put a pillow over
as
his
he
mouth.
could.
Dan would
Yeah.
love
A
to shoot with
silencer.
I
that.
put a pillow over
Yeah.
his mouth.
Dan's
Just
never
said,
gonna
with
"Shh,
duct
man, go to
tape.
sleep."
Put a pillow over his mouth with duct tape.
Yeah, just go to sleep.
Just,
Right.
just stop talking. Let's go to Rapid Fire Games of the Week presented by Cross Country Mortgage. Players watch game film to prepare. Finding your dream home is no different, and Cross Country Mortgage is the partner that's prepped to put you in position to win. Reach out to us today at ccm.com/barstool. That's ccm.com/barstool, ccm.com/barstool. Equal housing opportunity in MLS 3029. All loans subject to underwriting approval. In MLSconsumeraccess.org. I can see Brandon jumping up and down like a little kid over here. So just go ahead because we're going to talk about the games, but I need you to have your moment.
2021 Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill, 37 touchdowns, 4,800 yards. 2022 without Tyreek Hill, 5,200 yards, 41 touchdowns. He got better in every aspect. They were just as good an offense this year without
That
Tyreek
does
Hill.
not say you were better. Most quarterbacks with the most passing yards, that means they were darn near losing when they had to throw the ball at the
Obviously,
conclusion
no,
of the
Patrick
game.
Mahomes wasn't losing. He's the number one seed.
That has nothing to do with the way the games played out.
Yeah, I mean, he had a down year last year.
So they were just as
But it
good
wasn't- I don't-
offensively this
yeah.
year. With
I still think you'd rather have Tyreek Hill. But
of
yeah.
course, you'd rather have Tyreek Hill. Why is my words going in the void?
No, I don't really care about Tyreek
They
Hill.
lost a top 5 receiver and were just as good offensively. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is the point.
You guys are on the same side of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
by the way.
I don't really care about. I just think bringing up Tyreek Hill means nothing. He was just great.
But what
this
you
year.
guys said was
No, I didn't say it. I said he was great this year.
I
He's
did.
the MVP.
I said it. I said it. Yes, right. I
whoever
said
said it was wrong.
it. No, I was not wrong. Tyreek Hill was an All-Pro, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Was he
just
the
don't-
All-Pro?
I don't think
This
there's no reason to
With-
bring up Tyreek Hill. Patrick
Exactly.
Mahomes is great.
If you're
The Chiefs
making the
are great.
case, for Patrick Mahomes for MVP, it's important to say he lost one of the best receivers in the league and was just as good. That's impressive.
No, he's just.
And the
best
receiver was just as
quarterback.
good.
No, but
No, he's
Continue, please.
no, Brandon. It has nothing to do with Tyreek Hill living.
Now you
he's
don't want
just
your
the
turn.
best quarterback.
he is.
He's the best
is.
quarterback.
He's
But
the
why
best quarterback
why
in
are
the
you
league.
fighting back? It's a
No,
don't
he's
think
telling
bringing
you
up
he was the
Tyreek Hill
best
means
quarterback,
anything.
but he's
It
better
doesn't
with Tyreek
mean anything,
Hill.
but it is a true fact that he lost one of the best receivers in the league and is just as good. That's why he is the MVP of this league.
No, the reason why he's the MVP
That-
is because he's the best quarterback.
This is fucking crazy. All right. Continue.
Well,
This is
guess
true.
what? We're going to talk about the Chiefs right now, so I can't imagine
Yeah.
this
Sorry
conversation.
for cussing, Dion. I told myself I wasn't going to cuss.
No, Tyreek Hill said hi. He just texted me. He said hi.
So let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jags at the Chiefs. We know that the Jags had the insane comeback last week against the Chargers. The tale of two halves with Trevor Lawrence and what he looked like in the first half versus the second half. But we know who the Chiefs are. We know who Patrick Mahomes is. Dan, I will start with you because I feel like Dion and Brandon are probably going to keep arguing. We know how good the Chiefs are. What the Jags did last week, though, was very impressive. But was that just because of who they were playing?
No, I mean they've been playing great football. They've basically been in a playoff game for the last 7 weeks, having to win out in the regular season to get there and then win last week. I think this game is going to be close. I think the Jags will put a little scare in the Chiefs, but I think the Chiefs will ultimately win. They just have more consistency, and you can't, like, if you make a mistake in this game, it's a lot different than making a mistake against the Chargers.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, if you don't
Right.
play a perfect game against Patrick Mahomes, he will punish you. So that's really what it comes down to me. I think the Chiefs win this game.
And Dion, the Jags were trailing 27-0 in the second quarter against the Chargers. And then Trevor Lawrence, like I mentioned, had a great second half. We've seen him have a lot of those moments throughout this season. Do you expect to see that against the Chiefs? Or do you think the Chiefs are just a whole different monster?
He had okay
Yeah.
second half. It wasn't a great second half. It was just better than the first half. It was just significantly better than the first half. And a lot of lackadaisical football defensively by the San Diego Chargers, which I think a couple of coaches got terminated just because. This team is good. I love where they've come from in a year's time. That's good coaching. That's personnel. Those are moves that made by the GM and the head coach. I love it because I love good football and I love a coach taking his team to the next level. With saying that, it's going to be tough for a Florida team to go to Kansas City and win this football game against arguably, which really no argument, the best quarterback in the NFL. The problem is there's no answer in the NFL for Travis Kayce. He's the best tight end. He's arguably the best player. There's no matchup that can stop him consistently. Every year he does what he does. I don't give a darn what quarterback you put out there. He is gonna be dominant. So until someone showed me an answer for Travis Kayce, I'm going to pick the Chiefs week in and week out.
Brandon, I've seen your body language throughout this segment, so I'm just going to, I don't know where you want to go with this. I'm just going to throw it up to you. Where do you want to
He
go?
just want to argue.
No, I don't want to just argue. I do want to shout out Trevor Lawrence because a lot of players would have tucked and run. A lot of players would have shut it down. A lot of players would
So
have
we
taken
going to give a guy credit for doing his job?
He threw 4 interceptions in the first half. It could have gone
So
one
we
way
going
for
to
him.
give him credit.
It could have gone one way for him. No, he just wants to argue. Dion just wants to argue with me. That's what's happening here. Yeah, so
Everyone wants to argue.
We're absolutely going to give him credit. He threw 4 interceptions, and he's in a playoff. He's in his playoff debut. It could go so many different directions, and the direction he took it in was, I'm going to lead my team back, and I'm going to win this game, and I'm going to go to Waffle House afterwards. That's what Trevor Lawrence did. And you got to shout it out because he was awesome in the second half. He
Maybe
was
just
great.
don't throw 4 interceptions to start.
But he did. He did throw 4 interceptions.
How
to
was
start.
he awesome in the second half and he threw 4 interceptions? You can't be awesome
He was
if you've
down,
already thrown 4 interceptions.
He was down 27-0, and he never.
But you can't be awesome if
punted
you've
again,
already
Dion.
thrown 4 interceptions. You're better than the 4 interceptions, but there's no way you could be awesome and you've thrown 4 interceptions.
It is. You were terrible in one half, awesome in another half, and you put it together. It's fine.
It's the old Brett Favre. He did
was
the Brett Favre.
absolutely
Brett Favre used to
awesome in the
just-
second half.
Just
They-
suck at the beginning and then be like Captain Comeback. It's like, well, he sucked.
He was
to start.
He was
He
a
did-
great
he did
quarterback in the
suck.
second half.
See, I love that. Dan, I love you sometimes. I really do.
I mean,
He
I'm
was-
I really do.
Brandon's getting emotional. I'm just giving facts.
All that being said,
Thank you.
Chiefs all day here. The Jags this isn't the Chargers, and you make a mistake in Arrowhead, you make a mistake against the Chiefs, you're going to be done, and the Chiefs are just better all around. I do think the Jags keep it close, like he said, but this is a Chiefs coronation at this point.
Are we done? Are we all done with the arguing with the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Done with the
Thank you.
arguing.
There's nothing to argue
Okay.
about with the Chiefs.
I appreciate you, Dan. That was
Yeah,
great.
I got it.
The most arguing that's been done has been about the Chiefs. So I just want to make sure we're
The problem is
done.
Brandon and I agree on some of these points, but he just makes it in such stupid ways. that it's
No,
just
what
like-
I said
Thank
was
you.
very,
Thank you.
very
Yeah.
cut and dry, and the fact that you're
Hey,
saying
hey
it's
Dan,
stupid
can
is
you
just
do
crazy.
one thing for me?
Yeah.
Can you say that S word with the emphasis like you said?
Yeah, he
Like
does
I
it
love
in
the way you said.
stupid ways. It's
No,
just
the other
stupid.
one, the other one, the SU, the S. When you said that.
Sucks.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Brandon sucks.
I don't suck.
Brandon
See, there you go.
sucks. That's
See
what
that
you
that
want, yeah.
the way that emphasis on it, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it.
And make sure
Sucks.
you really hit the U and the sucks. Okay, we are done with the Kansas City Chiefs. We will see what happens. I
They're gonna
assume.
win. I got to
Yeah.
pick out my favorite Pac-12 team for next year. I got to just have
Go with Cam Rising.
yeah, Cameron, Utah. Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be it. I'm
Yeah,
going
you
Utah.
can't take this into that.
Yeah,
You
no, I
cannot
can't.
take this
I'm a
into
college
that.
football guy,
Hey,
Dan.
I
I'm a
did not
Ute.
say you that word. He said it.
I'm a Ute.
So you can't punish
told him
me
to
for
say it.
something another man
Yeah,
said.
you didn't tell me to say it.
Dion, I will say
You're
Brandon
right.
is
You're right.
Brandon is one of the pettiest people I know in the best way possible. That's why half the internet loves him, half the internet hates him. He will be talking about this exact conversation next fall on a college football podcast
Yeah.
because he will remember this moment forever.
I'll send him some gear. I'll send him some gear.
You know what? That'll win.
Done.
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 Yep.
Some
That's
gear.
he's very easily swayed with
Yeah,
free
Dion
gear.
read that situation very well.
Yeah, he's very easily swayed with free gifts. Let's get to the primetime pick of the week presented by the Chevy Silverado. Dion, all season you have been the winner. You have won pretty much
Yeah.
everything. I will say you are already out with this because you took the Vikings last week. We know what
Yeah.
happened with that.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was a dumb pick.
It happens though, but you have to still
Dan told
continue picking.
Dan told me. He told me.
told
He
you.
told me. He told me. He told me. He told me.
So you can still pick even though you are technically out of the running.
Okay.
So the Survivor Playoff primetime pick of the week, who are you going with?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Okay, I gotta get back in this thing.
Okay, Dan.
I'll let Brandon go first.
Okay, Brandon, you
You know
said
what I'm going through. That's not right.
well.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if anybody did not watch the show last week, Brandon picked the Bills because he said, "Well, it's not my problem. I might not be sitting at this
right.
this desk." Well, you are sitting at this desk, so you put yourself in a pickle.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say it with my chest. I'm gonna put my money on the table. Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Cowboys go on the road and get a win right here. Chiefs would be the easy play. If I want to just get on the board, I would say the Chiefs. But no, I'm saying it with my chest. Cowboys.
Well, you also are probably not saying the Chiefs because you think you'll be back next week
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I might be saving
Yeah.
the Chiefs. Who knows?
Yeah, let's see.
All right,
Now you're preserving yourself, Dan.
I'll take the Eagles. Easy.
Eagles.
22-1. 22-1. They're calling me the 22-1 kid. That's what they're
I like
saying on the
that.
streets.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Dion, before I let you go really quick, I noticed that you weighed in on the Dana Beers just very thick picture
Oh
that
my
he
God!
had.
I love your tweet. I love your post. What did you say? He looked what?
He double cheeked up on a Tuesday.
He looked double. Yeah, he was really thick back there on that shot that he. He's been eating really good.
He has. Brandon and I were sitting together when he walked by, and both of us audibly gasped at how big his ass looked in those pants. Hey, people are into that.
He can make it clap right now. He can make it clap. Let's just say that. Hey Dan, how's my nephews doing, man?
Oh,
How's my guy doing?
your nephew and niece, they're good. I got to bring them in
Right.
maybe I'll bring them in next week. You can see them on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell them their black uncle said hi.
Yes,
okay?
I will. Yes, I will. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
They're
it.
going to be Buffalo fans, so we got to get them the gear. I got to get them all the gear.
I got to get them some little gear. I got to go in the gift shop and see if they got any kids gear, and I got you.
I was about
love
to
it.
say, if you could send me a onesie too, because the other
No,
nephew's
baby, I got you.
on
I
its way too.
I got you. I got heat, the nephew and the mommy.
Yeah,
Okay?
we're all going to be wearing Buffs gear, including Brandon, because you just won him over with the free gear. So
Actually,
Oh, I
probably
got
not.
it.
I'm
Take
still
care.
you.
The camera is in school.
everybody enjoy their divisional round weekend. We will be back next week. Have a great Sunday.
Oh, God bless.